Well, welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. We were just discussing the fact we need to get smell-o-vision. My goodness, the treats we have in the kitchen to start off the show, absolutely incredible. And we brought that up because talking about how now in certain movie theaters, they actually have like that smell and you get sprayed with water and I mean the moving seats and everything. Well, my next guest, she'll just have to describe to you how absolutely delicious each of these recipes are. I'm joined by Natalie Ward. She is founder and food blogger at the popular food blog Parsley and Icing. Welcome, Natalie. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Derek. Happy to be here.
An interesting title for a food blog.
Yes.
I want to ask you about that first. Where did the idea of Parsley and Icing come from?
So I'm glad you asked because people think of parsley, they think of savory food.
Yeah.
So I started doing both savory and sweets when I started my blog, and I love Mediterranean food and fresh tasting ingredients. So I thought, well, parsley is, you know, that finishing herb that people add to their foods, and icing, of course, that finishing touch on desserts. So it was parsley and icing, but now my love for baking kind of took over. So
or
there's
other
not as
people's
much
love
parsley.
of your baking.
Yes, thank you.
Right?
Yes.
It could have been a combination of the two of those things.
Yes.
Well, you have an interesting story because I was saying, you know, you took a big risk.
Yes.
You had a secure job. You're an elementary school teacher. And then in 2019, you decide, no, I'm going to leave that secure job and start a food blog. Tell me about that decision.
Yeah, so it was good timing. I had always loved baking and cooking, and there were certain points in my life I thought about pursuing a career in that, but I also love languages and teaching, so I was a teacher for over 10 years, primary school English language learners in Boston, and what helped was I was in the process of moving in 2019 from the US to Canada, so you know, it kind of was, I was switching things up anyway, so I started an Instagram account, and I really didn't have a plan of, I'm going to be a food blogger. It was just kind of in the meantime, and, you know, I started just sharing pictures of my dinner and stuff like that, and before I knew it, I had a website, I was learning about photography, and I was a food blogger, so it was just out of love.
And now this is your full time. This is what you're doing full time.
Yeah.
I mean, bless you. I thought I had the best job in the world, but as I look at all these treats scrolling on the screen here that you've created, boy, oh boy, I'm jealous. We're actually going to make one of your treats today, right?
Yes.
What are we preparing in our kitchen here today?
So my thinking was everyone loves chocolate cake, and you'll see here on my site there's a lot of chocolate recipes. So everyone loves chocolate cake, and here we are approaching blueberry season and berry season in Ontario, so I thought, why not make chocolate blueberry cake? So
why not?
we are making.
I'm on board. Let's do this thing.
So we're making chocolate blueberry cake. It's very simple. It's one layer. So I know not everyone loves to turn the oven on in the summertime. So I will say some of my recipes are actually no bake. You don't even need to use the oven. But this one, you do need to turn the oven on, but it's super simple. Everything comes together. You can use a mixer or just whisk everything together by hand. So I'm going to have you help me out a little bit.
All right.
So the first thing, you know, if we were making this from scratch today, I would preheat my oven so that's good to go when our batter's ready.
What temperature are we setting that at?
350 Fahrenheit. Not Celsius. I'm still using the conversions.
Good for you. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So 350, and then the next thing we would do is prepare our pan. So I'm using an 8-inch square pan. You can also bake this in a 9-inch round pan. So, and I like to put, this is a good little tip for everybody, is to put parchment paper in your pan.
It is the miracle paper.
It's awesome. Yeah,
honestly, I use it so often now. I love it.
Yeah, cooking, baking, it's so easy. Less of a cleanup.
And if you use foil for some of the things, like I know people do bacon in the oven with foil, then it sticks to it and you lose. It's a disaster.
So you know, parchment paper.
Love it.
So I have that, and I use metal clips too. You can put these in the oven if you want to keep the parchment paper from dipping into the batter. So I have that. We have our oven, our pan set. So next is the dry ingredients. I've already mixed these together, so it's just unsweetened cocoa powder, sugar, baking powder, baking soda. Cinnamon is a secret ingredient because I love cinnamon with chocolate. The warmth of the cinnamon with the chocolate, I feel like it kind of enhances the chocolate. So this is all mixed together.
So this is the dry is separate from the wet. I remember this from many bakers coming on because it's a science. Baking is a science, right?
Yeah, and I know most of the recipes on the blog I wanted to mention they're from scratch because I think things taste better like that, just using fresh ingredients. But some I do put substitutions in. So if you're short on time, or you're just learning to bake and you want to use a brownie mix, but put the Nutella in the middle or something, something like that. There are shortcuts in the recipes, but I try to explain everything and give tips along the way so that to take the fear out of from scratch baking.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great idea. Okay, let's mix this wet ingredients together.
So we're going to mix, I'll have you mix them together. So 2 eggs.
All right.
So room temperature eggs. They'll mix in better.
Get that started.
Perfect.
We got here vegetable oil.
This is vegetable oil, and a lot of times I use butter for my cakes.
Okay.
You probably have too, room temperature butter.
Yeah.
We're using vegetable oil. This makes it easier because you don't have to worry about pulling the butter out of the fridge and letting it soften. But
and
another
you often forget to do that, and then the frustration kicks in. Yeah, I've been there.
You can't really blend hard butter. So this will make it nice and soft and moist.
Okay.
So vanilla extract for flavor.
You need that. Yes. Love it.
Oh, yes.
Is this yogurt here?
This is another secret ingredient. This might make it easier here.
Sour cream, maybe?
Sour cream, yes. So it's sour cream. Sour cream is going to add a slight tang.
Yeah.
You probably won't notice. It's kind of like baking with buttermilk, so it'll add a little tang, and it's also going to make the cake nice and soft.
So how many recipes would you say you have on your website now?
A lot.
You don't even have a number. You're just like, Derek, it's just a lot.
It's a lot, yes. And I'm in the process now of updating some of the older ones because, like I said, I wasn't like, okay, I didn't go to school for food blogging. It's like learn as you go. So now I'm going back and trying to add more tips and these process pictures.
Idea.
Yeah.
So we're going to mix these two together?
So we're going to, pour the wet ingredients.
Okay.
You're doing a great job into the dry ingredients. And now, we'll switch over to a spatula.
You would invite me into your kitchen to help you?
I definitely would, yes.
And how many videos do you put up a week? Is it
so for the actual
consistent?
So there's 2 things. So there's you're just gonna fold that together. Perfect. So I post on social media and I also post on my website.
Right.
And I remembered we are missing a little bit of hot water. That's the only other thing.
Okay.
So viewers at home, it's on the blog.
I didn't have the kettle ready. That's why.
So you're going to want to add, it's only 1/4 of a cup of hot water.
Okay.
So it'll thin the batter a little bit out, and it also will help the cocoa bloom.
Okay.
But
and then the blueberries after the hot water is in there as well.
Folded in.
We pour it into here and voila.
Here, yes. And then this bakes, like we said, 350 for about a half hour.
Okay.
Yes.
We've got a finished one over here, because we're down to now 30 seconds because we've been blabbing, you and I, but we love food.
Exactly. So here's the finished cake. As you can see, it's super simple, and I love it because it's rustic and, blueberries. It's a farm kind of feel.
You got a lot of lemon, too, I noticed, right?
Lemon crinkle cookies are super easy to make, and these are Nutella stuffed brownies.
Oh, my goodness.
That I hope you'll enjoy.
The crew is
leaving all of this with you guys.
The crew's going to go nuts, Natalie. Remind everybody your website name again.
ParsleyandIcing.com.
There you go. ParsleyandIcing.com. We'll be back with more Daytime right after this. Something else really cool to show you coming up.